Derek Chauvin and his trial, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with killing George Floyd. Week 2 of testimony wrapping up with the medical examiner on the stand revealing critical details about how he said Floyd died. ABC's Rena Roy has more from Minneapolis. Rena, good morning.
Eva, good morning to you. This week was all about cause of death and use of force. As you said, experts explaining in painful detail about exactly how they believe George Floyd died.
Week 2 in the closely watched murder trial of Derek Chauvin ending with a bang. Jurors hearing highly anticipated testimony from Dr. Andrew Baker, the Hennepin County medical examiner who performed George Floyd's autopsy, saying his body just couldn't handle the restraint from officers.
The law enforcement subdual restraint and the neck compression was just more than Mr. Floyd could take by virtue of those heart conditions.
The prosecution hoping to convince the jury it was Chauvin's knee that killed Floyd. But the defense says those heart problems and Floyd's drug use ultimately led to his death.
And so in your opinion, both the heart disease as well as the history of hypertension and the drugs that were in his system played a role in Mr. Floyd's death?
In my opinion, yes.
Other key medical experts also taking the stand, including pathologist Dr. Lindsay Thomas.
There's no evidence to suggest he would have died that night, except for the interactions with law enforcement.
The jury shown these 3D images as breathing and lung expert Dr. Martin Tobin asked them to feel their own necks.
This is your windpipe here.
Explaining how Chauvin's actions made it impossible for Floyd to breathe, with Floyd's body pressed against the pavement, handcuffs on in the prone position, and Chauvin's knee on his neck, back, torso, and arm.
The cause of death is a low level of oxygen.
11 current and former law enforcement officials testified against Chauvin this week, including use of force expert Jody Steiger of the LAPD, saying he should have reduced restraint and given medical aid once Floyd was cuffed on the ground.
He was not attempting to assault the officers, kick, punch, or anything of that nature.
The Minneapolis police chief also condemning his actions.
It is not part of our training, and it is certainly not part of our ethics or our values.
The defense arguing the growing crowd of bystanders distracted officers, pressing Officer Nicole McKenzie on the issue.
Have you ever had to perform emergency services in not even a hostile crowd, just a loud, excited crowd?
Yes.
Is that, in your experience, more or less difficult?
It's incredibly difficult.
Prosecutors only have to show that Chauvin's actions were a substantial causal factor, even if other issues contributed to Floyd's death, according to Minnesota guidelines.
And Friday was the first time we saw someone sitting behind Chauvin in court to show support. His attorneys will soon get their chance to call witnesses. Dan?
So many people watching this trial so closely. Rena, thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.